And with me now to discuss the meaning of these latest events is Yishai Fleischer, international spokesperson for the Jewish community of Hebron. Thank you, Yishai, for coming here and being with us.
Thank you.
Yishai, was an attack like this expected, or were Israelis caught off guard here?
Well, we're not off guard anymore because we know we're in a time of war.
Mm-hmm.
We've had a war for 2 years now. My daughter asked me, she said, how long is this going to war last? I said to her, I don't know, 5 years. She said, really?
Wow.
I said, yes, because we still have the whole issue of Judea and Samaria, which is full of jihadism. At the end, our war is against jihadism. And so wherever jihadism is taught, and jihadism can be defined as a religious ideology that wants to see Israel destroyed, in our case. And so jihadism is sadly alive and well in parts of Judea and Samaria that are under the control of the so-called Palestinian Authority. And this organization teaches jihadism. How do I know? Did I read it in newspapers? No, I actually have Palestinian Authority television at home. I just watch it. I don't need more than 5 minutes. It's 24/7 anti-Israel propaganda. And so they're teaching it to them. They're funding, the PA is funding terrorists, including the Hamas terrorists that took part in the October 7th massacre. And so now, you know, they're feeling the pinch because we're destroying them in Gaza, because we, you know, just fought in Yemen so strongly. And so they want to bring out what we call in Hebrew a pigua, terrorist act. And they managed to do it. We're at high alert, certainly. But the war with the jihadism of Judea and Samaria hasn't really started. We have operations in Jenin, etc. But the big war against this organization and the Hamas in Judea and Samaria in the so-called West Bank is yet to come. And this is another catalyst to make sure that this Gaza war doesn't just end in Gaza, but really is a opportunity. And I hate to use such a dark moment, such a dark day, and to put the word opportunity, but opportunity to save lives in the future, to better the region by using this moment and today's awful terror attack as a fulcrum to destroy the remnants of jihadism that wants to destroy Israel in Judea and Samaria and in Gaza and on our borders.
Now, you know quite a lot about Palestinian terror, especially serving as a spokesperson for the Jewish community in Hebron. Tell us about the evolving threats from inside the city in Jerusalem and from within the territories.
So, look, we have first thing before we even go on to the so-called territories, what we call Judea and Samaria, it seems, and this is unconfirmed, but I'm not a police spokesman, so I could say things that are not confirmed, that
right.
The bus drivers were in cahoots with these terrorists. They are right now under investigation, I just saw in the Shabak. And so, but there is reports from people, bystanders and people on the bus that saw the bus driver leave the bus, was on the phone and left just as he told people to get out. And the exact same moment the terrorists came in. So this is an Israeli Arab bus driver. So we have a problem, not just with the so-called territories, Judea and Samaria, and the jihadism that's taught there, but also with Israeli Arabs who more and more identify themselves with the Palestinian cause and therefore anti-Israelism. So look, on the one hand, the Gaza war that we've fought has certainly subdued some of the jihadism, because a lot of people here in Hebron, and I'm in Hebron right now, say, why should we start up with the Jews? They're obviously strong. They're not going anywhere. We might as well accept it. And then there are Arab sheikhs, so-called Palestinian religious leaders here, and Mukhtars, family leaders, who are clan leaders, who are actually calling to leave the PA and to join Israel. They are tired of the lack of fulfillment of promises of the PA. They want to join Israel. They want to be part of the Abraham Accords, and they want out of the Palestinian Authority system because it is corrupt, it is jihadist, and it has not brought to them their dreams of a Palestinian state. So a lot of people want out. On the other hand, some people have just been subdued by the Gaza war, and then there's other people who are, as we saw today, who are jihadists, who want to fight back against Israel, who want to show the world that Israel is vulnerable. This is a boon to all those anti-Israel folks out there. They say, look, you see, the jihad strikes them from within. They're weak. But I think today's events show also strength because let's not forget the shooting that the defense that took place by an ultra orthodox soldier, and that just proves
Right.
how ultra orthodox soldiers
Right.
are able to defend Israel and are part of Israel's defense. And I think the ultra orthodox world, which was attacked today, also was the one that fought back. So I think that there's also a great moment of heroism today, and that's important to remember at this moment.
So exactly what you're referencing now, the two terrorists were neutralized rather quickly. Police blocked access and emergency units dispatched quickly. What do you think this says about the operational readiness? And is the response sufficient in your opinion?
Look, it's never going to be sufficient until Jewish people walk the land and drive in the land without fear. And but by the way, let me add, and this is important to know, that the jihad usually attacks moderate Arabs first. There's a lot of both brainwashing and physical attack threatening against moderate Arabs who want to see normalization with Israel. Are we operationally ready? I think that we can't talk that way anymore after the 7th of October. We can't speak haughtily and say we're ready. Clearly, we missed a lot of the signs, and I think that we are still not totally ready for a Judea and Samaria for that phase of the war, but it's coming, and Israel has shown itself to be very resilient, and I think that we're seeing a generation of Israeli courage that has returned, Israeli fighting spirit that has returned. Today in the army, like every young infantry soldier has already battle experience. We are a different country than we were 2 years ago. So we are definitely much more ready. And I think that what we saw today with an ultra-Orthodox soldier trained and shooting, and not just shooting, engaging the enemy, running towards the enemy, which is part of the Israeli, the way that we do war, which is we run towards the enemy and we engage him. We saw that today in an ultra-Orthodox young man who these ultra-Orthodox fighters really proved that it is important to give guns. And I think that Minister Ben-Gvir, who's the Minister of National Security, who has really empowered citizens to have more guns and now also empowered more areas to get more guns. There's about 100,000 guns coming into civilian hands soon to add to that defense. He's been proven right that as civilians having those guns makes a difference. Those people who say ultra-Orthodox folks can contribute a lot in the army and can defend themselves better are also proven right today. Those people, like myself, who have been warning against jihadism running amok in Judea and Samaria and even in mainland Israel, have also been proven right. Today is a horrible day. We mourn the loss. We embrace the families, but we have to use it also as an opportunity to say it's time to take the Gaza operation into Judea and Samaria and clean out the jihadism that has infiltrated our land. We have to get rid of that jihadism. We have to bring safety back to the streets for both Jews and other people who live in the great state of Israel.
Especially, I'd like to point out what you said, that one of the people who neutralized the attackers was from the ultra-Orthodox community. And we know there's a lot of criticism in recent years, especially since October 7th, of the ultra-Orthodox not serving in the army, not taking part. And today, this event, I think, proved otherwise.
Yeah, I think, how should we say, it's a turning point in the ultra-Orthodox thinking. It's not just about the army as part of like Israel and blue and white and all the brand of Zionism. It might be a different brand. It might be a black and white brand, but it's still Zionism. It's still defense. And bad guys should not be able to strike at any parts of the Israeli community. And so when the ultra-Orthodox are armed, are trained, are part of the Israeli defense, the country's stronger. And one of the reasons, let's be frank, one of the reasons that the terrorists chose this area today is because they're ultra-Orthodox folks, and they think of them as being less defended, less armed, less ready to reply. And so therefore, the jihadist terrorist gunmen could stand out there and shoot and keep shooting. And I'm sure that they expected to come out today with tens and tens of Israelis killed and not 6 or 7, sadly. Of course, we don't take that for granted. But the point is that an ultra-Orthodox young man shooting back at terrorists and getting rid of them, taking them down in a kind of trained and professional manner, That
Right.
is a turning point. That is a turning point. And it's a day that will be remembered as a heartbreaking day, but also a beginning of a kind of heroic return to arms for the ultra-Orthodox. Jewish people should not allow themselves to be a duck shoot. No, we have to be able to defend ourselves and strike back. And maybe today the jihadis will think to themselves, looks like the ultra-Orthodox are not as defenseless as we thought. And certainly Israel is not defenseless. I hope, as I said before, that this will bring closer a general operation to clean the jihad out of our land.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, just thinking back, attacks in major cities like Jerusalem have always taken place. I remember them clearly as far back as, year 2000, 2001, during the Second Intifada. There were so many. Do you think that here we're heading for another wave?
There is definitely threats like that. And there are threats from other places as well. There are definitely threats from Judea and Samaria that there might be an intifada or a major attack on Jews or an uptick. And if that's true, and if the intelligence people know that, then the way to do it is not to appease the bad guys, but to strike at them and to preemptively strike at them. Let this day today be the thing that causes that preemptive strike. Yes, our troops are pretty much tied up in Gaza. And the war, the way it's been, if you've noticed, we started in Gaza, then we went over to Lebanon, then we went over to Iran, and the next big thing is Judea and Samaria. So we got to tie up the Gaza thing by striking hard against the Hamas and destroying them. Yes, there is such an opportunity right now to destroy Hamas. There should be nobody to negotiate with on the other side. Those guys are not to be negotiated with. We always used to say you can't negotiate with terrorists. So that's what we there's nothing to negotiate with the Hamas of Gaza, according to people like myself. And when it comes to Judea and Samaria, yes, that is the next theater of operations. There's no doubt about it. There's a lot of bad guys. There's a lot of arms. And there's a lot of good folks who don't want to be under the thumb of jihadism, including Arabs, who want to come under the rubric and defense of Israel as residents, as part of Israel. That has to be worked out properly. The economics of it have to be worked out properly. But Palestinian Authority is dangerous. It's corrupt. It's jihadist. The Hamas is jihadist. We've got to clean out that brainwashing. We got to rescue future people from being killed by this jihad like we saw today. We can't let that happen anymore. As we say, never again. And we have to ensure that our land is safe and prosperous. And Abraham Accords is the right way forward. But the Abraham Accords cannot move forward without jihadism. By the way, let me just add that the UAE and Saudi Arabia have threatened, the UAE has threatened to pull out of the Abraham Accords if Israel annexes Judea and Samaria. Well, with friends like these, we have every right to our historical homeland. And if anybody wants to be our ally, it's because Israel is strong, because Israel is a good ally, because Israel will bring life-saving technology, tourism, prosperity, spirituality to this region. But if the UAE doesn't want that and wants to tell us what to do, then that's not the kind of Abraham Accords we need. We need real partners in this region, people who respect our history, our rights, and our strength and determination. That's the kind of partners we need. And so the UAE, if they want to pull out of the Abraham Accords for us, asserting sovereignty over ancestral homeland, that's not the partners we need.
Well, hopefully more nations will join along the Abraham Accords. Certainly Netanyahu and Trump would like so and would hope so.
And so would we.
And so would we. So would we here in Israel. Well, thank you very much for this valuable input and for your observations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.